Just tune in to Uncultured, the podcast, with your host, Jeremy Zion. Let's get into it. I got you. Welcome to Uncultured, the wellness podcast. I am back today with another co-host. I got T. Safel. How you doing?
I'm doing well.
You can introduce yourself. I'll let you, as the man of yourself, to introduce yourself.
Oh, yeah. T. Safili. Yeah. T.
Yeah.
K. Safili.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes.
And
boys.
what is some things that you enjoy? I don't like to ask people what they do because that could be anything. What do you enjoy? What's your interest?
My interests, just ranges from like writing, just poetry, history, stuff like that, anime, like not video games as much though, but hey.
So when I met you, T, it was actually pretty wild because I was like, I never met no one like you. And I'm going to say that because you are bluntly honest. And it's like a lot of people don't, like, I'm used to being bluntly honest. And so then it was like walking the room that somebody like you unapologetically bluntly honest and you just be speaking your mind. So tell you a little, like, how did you form into it? Was that something that you had to step over or is that just you?
I mean, it just depends on who I'm with, low-key, to be honest. Like, if I trust you, I'm going to be, like, straight up, like, about it with you. Like, to be honest, especially with this society, I feel like a lot of people like to put on certain facades and so on to kind of fit in whatever they want to fit in.
That's facts.
I'm just the kind of type, it's just like, if I know you personally and I have your best interest in mind, I just let you know, like, what I got to let you know, like, from my perspective, and just leave it from there. And even then, it's not like everything, I just kind of like layer by layer, just unleash it layer by layer.
I feel that. So I got you today. Today's topic for Uncultured, we got colorism, because colorism is a seeming like it's a topic that you can immediately skip to racism, all this, but colorism is self-detrimental subject within the community of its own race that could be oppressed, which in this case we talking about black folk. So it's like we already know that there's racist people, but then it's the fact to have colorist people in your own culture of people that supposed to look like you or be like. Well, I can't even say be like you because nobody can be like anybody.
But on the same tip.
But on the same tip, exactly, as every other race be having their shit together. Jews, Italians. Germans, like we could get on the tip. Like all these other communities got their communities together. But so tell what are you little thoughts on colorism, man?
Well, considering the element that is colorism, it all branches off from like capitalistic type values. Once again, it's just the more like negative aspects of it. You see, it's on the capitalist note, on the good note of capitalism. Yeah, sure, it's good to like kind of like seek out for what you want and try to build your own stuff, and But at the same time, like it goes back to that selfish element too, where it's like they just try to break people down like bit by bit, so then we fight each other. It starts from capitalism, which births racism, then births colorism. And elitism isn't really birthed from that, but it's just one of those elements. It comes back to capitalism. Someone's trying to get a benefit from it.
No doubt, because the only way that you can be racist, as we said, is if you have an actual system built up to be racist in a system of superiority. So I think the one of the main sources when we come to media and colorism, let's go to hip hop.
Yeah.
Our folk mostly we don't like hip hop is pretty much majority 99.8% black, and so I'll say in the music videos, right? What's promoted? What kind of women is promoted in most of these videos?
I'm gonna keep it 100 with you, bro. I haven't been keeping up with a lot of the videos lately and everything. When I think about videos, I'm thinking about like early 2000s type stuff. That's when it was just more eccentric.
That's
like, everything kind of just looks.
That's what music videos, yeah.
But it's like when I think about a music video, like the last one I think like okay, like City Girls, like just ass shaking and everything, So it's just like it's kind of simplified to just ass shaking and just straight up like club type scene type stuff. To really accentuate that lifestyle. So oh yeah, this is what I want, But it's like, but you still notice a lot of things from like in colorism within hip hop that we've seen. little transgressions here and there. My first memory from like something like that, like I think I was watching Behind the Music with like Missy Elliott and so on. Is like I think she like wrote like or made a song or made like a feature with like Raven Simone like as a kid, like doing like some kind of music video. I mean, look it up if you want to. But it's just like instead of actually getting Missy in the music video, they got some other like some other girl like that didn't look like her because Missy is a little bit darker and everything. I don't really see that, I just see Missy as being Missy. Like, yeah, she's dark skinned, but she's a beautiful dark skin. Like in so many different ways.
No doubt.
She kills the mic. So it's just like to think that even like with like talent like Missy, that you would be overlooked over some stuff like that initially, it really says on to her legacy as like an artist as a whole. Because it's like, you don't even remember like Raven Simone for like stuff like that. You think about, oh yeah, that's so Raven, stuff like that. Maybe the Cosby shows or whatever. But it's just like Missy Elliott just pretty much eclipsed all of that. She's like a legit icon. And everything.
She made hits.
Yeah, and then just
flash records.
Forward. Yeah, and then flash forward to like the modern times. We had that issue with what was her name? Dang, on Wild 'N Out, the old girl that got beefing. Yeah, they was beefing with DC Young Fly over like the whole Cardi B ugly ass.
Azealia Banks.
Yeah, Azealia Banks. Now Azealia Banks is a beautiful, beautiful woman. Yeah. It don't matter about her skin tone, whatever. She makes great music, yeah, but it's just like you got to keep in mind you were brought on the show because you were petty and everything. It's just a tribute to you. Yeah. And if you DC Young Fly, she says ugly ass all the time, and it's just like
Yeah,
but it really
sensitive, being
sensitive. But it speaks back to that trauma because you can't deny the trauma. If it hits you so hard that something like, oh yeah, we could have gotten Cardi B's ugly ass type stuff. If that could strike you instantly, like, oh yeah, he's just hating on me because I'm dark skinned. Yeah. How dare he? He didn't even talk about dark skin. He calls everybody ugly. And everything. So it's just one of those things, man. The traumatic effects of colorism runs deep, very deep.
No doubt. Because it's like now, even I said it, like in the music videos, a lot of the time it's this light skin base of plethora of models. Even when you go to Instagram, most of the IG models that's going through is fitting a light base where it's like you don't know, I could be mixed with this, and simply they could just be black and white. You know what I'm saying? It's like either way, like everybody has certain mixes in their genetics and all this, but it's emphasizing this light skin as a beauty and ignoring the fact of for years and years darker women was put to the side. You know what I'm saying? Where like the fact that where it started in our community, obviously coming from the slavery basis, where it was just, oh, you're light, come in the house, you're dark, get your black ass on the field. And the only reason, being a darker complexion, they just related that to being on the field. Yeah. And so now I feel like a lot of men like take that in the sense we're feeling like light skin, because even the comments that Jack Boy made as a recent, when he said dark skin women too violent for him. He said they too violent, they too rah. He said light-skinned women are just so dainty and harmless, trying to say. And which again I feel like stems from the fact where history you see a dark-skinned women out there working hard as the men. And then light-skinned woman might be in the house just serving food and all this shit. And so
it builds that like whole image or that illusion of distance of what you can't have. So it's just like when you get a light-skinned girl, it's like, oh yeah, like I made it type shit. Or like, oh yeah, I'm doing it. I'm getting up there. So it just comes back to even on the plantation, the sense of just like, okay, if I just work really hard or if I just get like the masses good, like maybe I can just be able to level up. Maybe I can just like get some clothes, maybe get some of this, get some of that. I don't know. They were getting maybe like some more cornmeal mush. I don't know. It's just like, but it's just, it really comes back to that capitalistic element and everything. And it goes back to trauma too. Cause like anything black, it could be like a black woman, black cat, black whatever. I'm not talking about black cat as in that black cat. I mean like, black cats like, are just considered like bad luck. That's what I'm talking about. Yeah, but it's just like, but it's just like, you're just instantly built to like consider anything black is dark, horrible, nasty, and everything. And it's just like, it really just depends on narrative of how you look at it. At the same time, it's just like, you see that scene from Malcolm X, the movie like where the Denzel Washington was playing Malcolm X and everything. You'd say to look into the dictionary, everything that relates to black, like connects to death or
darkness,
darkness, bad fortune.
But even calling darkness bad, darkness meaning bad.
Yeah.
When darkness can really mean peace.
It really could.
Darkness is the universe. If you never know, when it's nighttime and the stars are in a dark sky, a black sky. I mean, that withholds all of what we are in.
I feel like
which
black,
is the crazy thing.
I feel like black also represents abundance too, because even at the same time, you look at musical culture, bro. Look at all these genres: country music, blues, rock. Hip hop, all this stuff, reggae music. Who birthed it? All this stuff. What do white people make? Classical music.
Yeah, symphony basses.
You got classical music on your MP3, dog? Yeah. No, it's just at the same time, the abundance of creativity, the soul, the vulnerability that we have, that just kind of shows in our expression of art and music. It just kind of showcases that. And if you think back, to the first human, the farthest we can go back is in Ethiopia. That was a black woman. Now it's just everything, all that is human that came from a black woman, literally from Ethiopia. And they all possess that gene. I forget what it's called, the Eve gene, the mitochondrial, something like that, where it's just all human traits are withheld within that gene. So it's that's why when you see black families in sitcoms, you're more likely to just kind of be okay with every different shade of being represented within the children, because it's family members wise, you got family members that look in all sorts of shades, and it's just you're just used to it. Everybody just looks different. Some people have a light skinned father, they're dark. Some people have some people come out dark skinned, their sister or brother comes out a little bit light skinned. My mom's dark skinned, my auntie's light skinned, and it just kind of just shifts from there. It don't matter. It really doesn't matter. You just get what you get.
Exactly. And coming to speak on that, it's looking past the color, because I don't believe in the quote, when people be like, I don't see color. You got to see color unless you colorblind. Yeah. Which is you see it, but it's the fact of killing the relations of knowing that if certain thoughts arise, realize what is from preconditioned notions and what is not, and deciphering through time, because I think it shows a lot. And there's a lot of, as I said, as we were speaking of microaggressions, that feed into that even growing up. When you look at cartoons and stuff, when you might have seen some crazy shit in cartoons that
the blackface type things that be doing here and I think for Tom and Jerry they did one a couple times, and it's just when you look even deep in the history, why are they so obsessed, bro? Even the ice cream theme song, it has racist elements to it. Come on now. But it's it's just one of those things, man. Everything is just another door. Within that door is another room, and then another window, and then another door, and it just keeps going on and on and on. And so I feel really when it comes to solutions in regard to how to counter this, I just feel it just comes down to education, I feel stuff like this, us speaking on it instead of just kind of just letting it go and then just sweeping it under the carpet. If we actually discuss the reasons as to why we think the way we think and do the things in which we do, we can better really self-analyze and actually look into ourselves and say okay, maybe something about this doesn't really seem right. That's why it's good to always be on the contrary, or maybe play devil's advocate with yourself, because not everything is as it seems all the time. There's always another element to it that just, we need to focus on. So,
exactly. Because let's even get into that part where, for me, in elementary school, you know what I'm saying, I happened to get, the little address, went to a white school, all that kind of stuff. And when I'm looked at, it was more of during that time, white kids, they wouldn't see me as other. It was they would be entertained by me, same as the teachers, a whole lot. They'll be entertaining me. I was still unapologetically me. But that attracted them. And it was amazed. But then it was when you get that first talk on that history lesson in elementary school, it was to see there's a change. They changed. They started looking at me different.